You ask me why I wear this black veil, even at night, even to sleep. You ask why the old woman never sees. Well then, come close and listen, but be warned. Some things once heard never uncoil from your mind. The scent comes first. A wet, heavy stench of rot clings to the back of your tongue like rancid grease. It seeps into your clothes, your lungs, your bones, no matter how shallow your breath. The swamps of Timișoara have always reeked like this, like bloated, waterlogged corpses left to simmer under a merciless sun. Even before the war, before the fortress crumbled into silence and the wells turned to ink, the stink was there. Older than the city, older than the hands that first carved its streets, older than the language we scream in when the nightmares gnaw too deep. The air itself seems soaked in centuries of decay. You smell the swamp long before you see it. But once you do, the reeds tower over you, impossibly tall, swaying as if drawing breath. They shiver in rhythms too slow to be wind, too regular to be chance. Gnarled trees lean at odd angles, their bark slick with slime, their roots coiled like arthritic fingers, dragging through black water clotted with algae, congealed blood, and worse. The mist never lifts. It lies thick and sour, curling like smoke, shifting in shapes that vanish the moment you look straight at them. Every step into the muck releases a sucking, tearing squelch, the sound of flesh peeled from bone, over and over. There are no bird songs, no frog croaks, only the buzzing, a constant sickly hum, a cloud of flies swarming over invisible shapes, hovering above the things just below the surface. Frogs the size of a child's head blink silently from the shadows, their throats pulsing but making no sound. Their eyes follow you. Sometimes they move, fast, too fast, disappearing with wet slaps into the gloom. Then there are the snakes. Not garden things. These are thick, black coils longer than a man is tall, gliding soundlessly through the water, their slick heads breaking the surface for just a second. Some say they've seen them wrapped around corpses, squeezing, gnawing, dragging them into the dark. The corpses, yes. The swamp drinks the dead, the executed, the vanished, the inconvenient. All find their end here, tossed into the black with a prayer or a curse, and sometimes the water gives one back, half-eaten, crawling with worms, eyes wide with the last thing they saw. Rats move in skittering hordes along the mud banks, their bellies swollen, their eyes pale and blind. They are bold, unafraid. They bite. They carry plug in their veins, dragging it to the edge of the slums, into the mouths of sleeping children, into the water jars of the desperate. The few who drink from the swamp, out of madness, thirst, or ignorance, do not last long. Their stomachs bloat, their skin yellows, and their eyes begin to leak a thick black pus. Some laugh as they die, some claw their own faces off. The locals don't speak of the swamp, not after dark. Some say it's alive. Not just filled with life, alive, listening, watching, waiting. It does not forget those who enter, and it does not always let them leave. I was 9, just a little girl. We lived in the northern wing of the fortress then, the one closest to the marsh. Father was a trader. He raised me alone. I never met my mother. He said their love was forbidden because she was a Christian. She died when I was born and father just took me. He was a good father when he was at home, caring and loving, but he was often away on business trips. I was free to do whatever I wanted, but he warned me, Melek, do not go near the swamps. But I was curious. I didn't listen. I remember the black iron of the gates, always slick with dew, and the high walls that moaned in the wind. The smell of iron never masked the rot. It clung to everything. But the nights were different. Something else lived in those swamps, beyond the reeds and crooked willow trees. Something that breathed slow, patient breaths and watched with lidless eyes. Something hungry. We didn't go out after dusk. No one sane did, except me. It was late autumn. The leaves had already died, the trees bare and skeletal, like they'd clawed their way out of graves. I was coming back from the baker's holding a half-stale loaf of bread when I heard the crying. Like a baby, but wrong. Wet and muffled like something gargling mud. It came from behind a cluster of fungus-choked cattails. I should have run, but children are curious, and I was foolish. I found it curled in a patch of dry moss. A rat. But not like any rat I'd seen. It was hairless, bloated, its pink skin stretched tight like it had been boiled. Its eyes were sealed shut, but twitched beneath translucent lids. Its tail, long and coiled, looked like a vein with teeth. Its mouth opened, revealing rows of too many teeth, too sharp for something so small. It whimpered like it was trying to speak. I scooped it up into my apron and held it close. It was ice cold. I named him Karim, after the lost twin brother father said he once had but never saw. I made a cage from wicker and wire, kept him in the attic, hidden beneath burlap sacks and curtains. I fed him crumbs, cheese, later meat. He ate it all, voraciously. He grew fast. Within days, Karim was the size of a house cat. His skin darkened, patches of black fur sprouting in uneven tufts. His teeth lengthened, his claws sharpened. When his eyes opened, they weren't red eyes. They were deep red, like coals pressed into sockets. They pulsed like something alive was behind them. He never squeaked. He watched. The attic grew cold. Even with the stove burning downstairs, a frost clung to the beams above. I spent hours with him, whispering, listening. I'd hear things at night, scratching from inside the walls, wet slapping sounds under the floorboards, clicks that felt too deliberate to be rodents. Once I woke to find dead toads in my shoes. Slip open, their tongues missing, eyes chewed out. Still, I said nothing. Father began to look at me like I was sleeping. He whispered with our neighbor when they thought I wasn't listening. Words like possession, curse, infection. He made me sleep downstairs one night. Just one. That night, Karim screamed. Not squeaked, screamed, like a man burning alive inside a well. His voice was full of hatred, and grief, and hunger. I ran to the attic, barefoot and shivering. He was thrashing in the cage, biting at the bars. His eyes blazed in the dark like fresh wounds. I opened the door. He crawled into my lap, limbs twisted, his bloated belly gurgling, skin stretched over pulsing masses beneath. Something inside him moved. I sank to him. He slept, and in my dreams that night I saw the swamp. Saw things rising from the water, smiling without mouths. It was the third week when the neighbors began to vanish. First the boy from the east tower, then the widow near the bakery, then the tailor's wife. No screams, no blood, just ajar doors, smeared floors, and that smell stronger than ever, like wet fur and open graves. Father locked the attic. I found another way in. Karim had changed again. He didn't walk now. He slithered, dragging his twisted limbs like useless branches. His back arched unnaturally, his spine pushing up like serrated rocks. His tail had become thick and muscular, like it had bones of its own. His fur fell off in clumps, revealing gray skin that squirmed with something underneath, something trying to get out. Still, he knew me. He would curl around my feet, rest his head on my lap. He purred like a broken furnace. And I loved him. The day it happened was Sunday. Father had gone to the market. I was alone. I fed Karim the rest of the chicken. He took it gently. Then he looked at me. He stared. I blinked. And then, darkness. When I woke, I was in bed. At least I think it was a bed. The sheets were damp. The smell hit me first. Sharp, metallic, like rusted nails driven through rotting meat. My face felt warm, wet, sticky in the places where skin should be dry. Something was wrong. Something was very, very wrong. I reached up. Fingers met ruin. There was no resistance, just soft sinking voids where my eyes had once been. My fingertips slipped into the sockets like they belonged there, like they had always belonged there. Warm fluid oozed down my cheeks and across my lips. Thick, syrupy, metallic. Blood. And something else, something gelatinous. A film of pus and rot. The smell hit harder now. It wasn't just blood. It was death. It was inside me. I tried to scream, but the sound caught in my throat like a splinter. My mouth opened wide and let out nothing but a broken, whimpering rasp. Then I felt it. A weight, something still on me. Tiny claws scrabbling, skittering across my chest. A rat, fat and slick with filth, perched near my neck. Its fur was soaked in the same blood that covered me. Its teeth glistened, raw chunks dangled from its whiskers. I felt them fall onto my lips, warm, slippery. My eyes. I thrashed, but it didn't run. It hissed a wet, gurgling sound and bit my collarbone. Sharp, sudden pain flared, but it barely mattered. The real pain was behind my face, phantom agony screaming from holes that should see, should blink, should cry. I screamed then, loud, long, a scream that didn't end but twisted into laughter, the kind that comes when your mind finally snaps to protect you, or betray you. Somewhere in the house someone ran. A door slammed. No one came. When my dad arrived, I heard him. One gasp, one shriek, then silence. He called the doctor immediately, but it was too late. Karim was gone. All that remained was the trail, slick and black, leading from my window into the swamp. They said it was a fever dream, an infection, madness, but they didn't hear what I heard in the attic. The whispering, the chewing, the breathing. They didn't know. Karim was never a rat. Not really. Something ancient lives in the swamps. It slips through cracks and puddles and mines. It finds the lonely. It becomes what you need. And when you love it, truly love it, it takes something in return. It took my eyes because I saw it. It left me alive because I loved it. So yes, I wear the veil. And yes, I remember everything, every smell, every sound, every tooth. The swamps still stink of rot. And some nights, if the wind is cruel, I hear him, Karim, singing, wet and low. Do not follow the trail. Do not feed the things that cry like children. And never ever love something that comes from the swamp. You'll end up like me, blind, forever.